Hi everyone, today let's go ahead and take a look at in a hypothetical scenario, what if the United States used a proportional system to choose the president? So this is just a blank electoral 2020 map. We've obviously got the Republican on one side, Democrat on the other. So let's just go ahead and give an example, I guess, an example situation. So in Wyoming, we could assume the most likely scenario would be Republicans get about 66% of the vote, Democrats get 33, then okay. And so then instead of Republicans getting all three of Wyoming's electors, they would get two and the Democrats have got get one. But it also obviously works the other way. So let's go ahead and look at Vermont, for example. Democratic state, so you could say Democrats get 63, Republicans get 33, okay. And so now instead of the Republicans being shut out in Vermont, the Republicans would get one elector. So that's just some examples for now. But we're just going to go down the list here. We'll start off in Alaska and Hawaii, then we'll go along the west coast, sort of up in this area here, then down this red wall here, up the Midwest, and then we're going to come back down to the south, then this area, then into the northeast, then finish off down this stretch here with the small states on the eastern seaboard. But here, so let's go ahead and take a look. So Democrats, let's say my prediction would most likely be they're going to get 58, and then the Republicans get 41. That's a pretty good margin. And so then you've got Democrats at 7, Republicans at 5. In Oregon, there's 7 electors there. Most likely I could see it going 4-3 in favor of the Democrats, possibly even 5-2, but most likely 4-3. So moving on to the state of California, let's say I think most likely scenario, Democrats get 65, Republicans at 35, so that's California's electors. In Alaska, I'm going to say Republicans get 66 and 33, so that's probably the closest you can get to there. In Hawaii, I'm going to say it's probably somewhere between 2 and 2 to 3 and 1. I'm going to put 3 and 1 because I think it's probably going to be closer to 3-1 in favor of the Democrats. Moving on to the state of Nevada. In Nevada, this one's going to be very close. So if I do something like, I think it's definitely going to be much closer to 50-50 than to, some other areas. In the state of Arizona, I think Biden's going to take this one. So it's an odd number of electors, so someone's going to need to have to take the win here. So I think probably the closest scenario you could see would be 55-45, but I'm not saying the Democrats are going to win by 10. I'm just saying the other scenario would be the Republicans win by 10, and I think it's probably going to be closer to the Democrats winning by 10. In Utah, let's go ahead and do that. So 50-50 or something like 66-33, so something like that. Idaho, same thing, 75-25, same as Hawaii. Wyoming, you can see something like a 66-33, 2-1 in favor of the GOP. Same thing in Montana and North Dakota. All these small states here most likely going to go to the Republicans. South Dakota, Nebraska. Nebraska's an interesting one because I think most likely it's going to be close to 60-40 because you obviously do have this at large is going to go to the Republicans by a pretty big margin, but I think it's probably closer to 60-40 compared to 80-20, especially with Biden on the ticket. In Kansas, you could see a 2-1 vote. Oklahoma. Oklahoma's a very Republican state, so I could see it going 4-3. That would be a pretty good margin. That's about 15 points. I'm gonna say it's sort of that one's an interesting one. I'm gonna put it 4-3, but it definitely could go 5-2 in Oklahoma. In fact, I'm actually going to change that to 5-2. I've changed my mind. So Democrats just getting 30% of the vote there in Oklahoma. Texas, I see them probably getting winning by 5 points or so 20-18 in Texas. State of Louisiana, let's go ahead and do Louisiana. 5-3, I see that probably being the closest in Louisiana. Arkansas is 4-2. Missouri, you could see it going sort of 6-4 there. In the state of Iowa, this one's going to be really close, so I'm going to say 50-50 there in Iowa. State of Minnesota, before we do Minnesota, let's just go ahead and fill in Colorado, 55-45, and New Mexico, 60-40 there. And obviously Nevada, oh, sorry, that's a mistake there. Obviously Democrats win Colorado and New Mexico there. Okay, moving on, Minnesota, so the Democrats, I think Minnesota, Democrats are probably going to win by probably 8%, so probably the closest is a 50-50 split of the delegates in Missouri. In the state of Wisconsin, that's also going to be very close there in Wisconsin, so let's put that as 50-50. Michigan, 16 electors, so I don't think the Democrats are going to win by 13 points, so I'm going to put it as a 50-50 split there down the middle. The state of Illinois, I see the Democrats winning probably 65% of the votes. It's 65-35, 54-45 in Indiana. In Ohio, I think the Republicans are gonna win this one. I'm gonna put it as, I think that the Republicans probably gonna win by about 4% in Ohio. So the closest would be a 50-50 split. State of Kentucky. Obviously, Republicans are going to do well there, 62-37. Tennessee, about the same split there in the state of Tennessee. Mississippi, 66-33 in Mississippi, about the same split in the state of Alabama. In Georgia, this one's going to be quite close, so I think the closest would be a 50-50 down the middle. State of South Carolina, this one could be a bit closer. I think that's probably the closest you're going to get, especially with a somewhat competitive Senate race there. Sorry, guys. State of Florida, I think the Republicans are going to win that. So I'm going to say 15-14 by about 3%. That's probably the closest they're going to get. The state of North Carolina, probably 53% for the Republicans is the closest. State of Virginia, 53-46 in Virginia. In West Virginia, obviously Republicans taking that one. 60% or 80%. Trump did win by about 71%, so that he got about 71% of the votes. So somewhere between 3 and 4 delegates for the Republicans. I'm tossing up. I'm just thinking, I don't know if Trump's going to win by as much as he did in 2016, so I'm going to put that as a 60-40 there in West Virginia. So we've already done Ohio. State of Pennsylvania, this has 20 delegates, and I'm just going to see. I think it would be very difficult I think the Democrats are going to win by more than 0%, but less than 10. So it's just whether it's closer to 55-45 or 50-50. I'm going to say it's closer to 50-50 right now. State of New York. So Democrats going to romp in New York, 68-31 there. Vermont, we're going to have 2 delegates for the Democrats, 1 for the Republicans. New Hampshire, 4 delegates. This is a swing state, so we can split that down the middle. State of Maine, I think the popular vote, you could say maybe 60% for the Democrats, so it would be closer to a 50-50 split there in the state of Maine. State of Massachusetts right now, Democrats, I'm going to say 72% of the vote. They're doing pretty well in Massachusetts. State of Rhode Island, 75-25. Connecticut, you could say maybe a bit more than that. 71 is a bit much though. So 57, a 4-3 in Connecticut split. Delaware is going to be 2-1. New Jersey, you could see it being maybe 64% probably. Maryland, 60-40, maybe a bit more than 60-40. 70-30 is quite a lot. I'm going to say 70-30 because it's one of the most democratic states in the whole country. And DC, I'm going to say Democrats get all 3 of their electoral votes. Okay, I think we have now finished all. Yep, these are all just split delegates prizes here. Alright, so the final result here of the proportional system here, 282 for the Democrats, 256 for the Republicans. So a closer election than maybe in a winner-take-all state system, but yeah, that's interesting. So I just wanted to go ahead and do that because I think it's an interesting way to take a look at it. So that's it for today's video, guys. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Good night.